Why the Brexit is a non-event for the UK and the EU.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to In.The.News. Live news and commentary from around the world by your host, Holy Joe Rock and Roll.
What's going on, everybody? It's Holy Joe Rock and Roll, and this is In the News. The Brexit is a non-event, and here's why. If you simply do a little bit of research, go to uktradeinfo.com. Here is the official trade statistics between the United Kingdom and some other countries. And if we just go to the latest release, this is for the month of March. This is monthly. The UK has a trade imbalance with pretty much everybody that it deals with. Here it has, you can see here, exports to Germany are 2.7 billion pounds, but imports from Germany are 5.2 billion pounds per month. That's on a monthly basis. Now let me ask you something. Do you think Germany is going to stop the UK from importing its goods to spite them? I mean, they're talking about millions of jobs in Germany that support that $5.2 billion worth of exports to the UK. I mean, and there's a $2.5 billion trade imbalance with the UK on a monthly basis. That means Germany is actually making money off of the UK when it comes to trade. Here with the United States, 4.4 billion exports to the United States. It only imports 3.4 billion. So here the UK is actually winning against the United States. It's exporting more to the US than it imports. So I don't think that's going to change any. There's no current impotence to change that relationship. This looks like Russia. They import 2.8 billion from Russia, export 1.5 billion. That number would probably go up if there weren't the sanctions. So Russia obviously not part of the EU, but won't be affected. Although it may, the exports to Russia may go up if the UK decides not to continue with sanctions against Russia for its invasion of eastern Ukraine and the seizure of Crimea. We'll have to see. Here's Switzerland. Switzerland is part of the European Economic Trade Zone, but it is not a member of the EU, has its own currency. You think Switzerland is going to change its trade policy with the UK over Brexit when the UK exports 0.6 billion pounds to Switzerland but imports 3.4 billion pounds on a monthly basis? Do you think Switzerland is going to say something? It wants to upset that apple cart? Switzerland's winning. And of course China, almost 3-1 in favor of China. So if you just look at those numbers, and I'm sure if we looked at other countries within the EU, the UK probably with France, the UK is probably importing more stuff from France than it exports to France. We're talking wine and cheese. The Brits, they love that wine and cheese from France, especially the cheap shit. But they are importing a lot of stuff from France. I mean, what do they export to France? I'm not really sure. Maybe that hot mustard? So the Brexit, for all the hype, and we had 2 down days in the market, which was an awesome buying opportunity. I hope you had an opportunity to buy something, because let's just take a look at some other numbers here. Here's just a simple chart. I'll zoom in on it. On a weekly basis, you see that the Dow Jones, we're talking about the Dow Jones Industrial Average, 30 large industrial and whatever companies in the U.S., about a week ago it was at around 1,800. It did drop precipitously the next 2 days, roughly 6%. But then yesterday, it popped up, and now at 17,400 versus 1,800, we're down roughly 3.3% from that 1,800 18,000 Dow, almost a high. Now, if you look at on a monthly basis, wow, it looks like a huge drop. Oh my God, look at that drop. Okay, great. It looks like a huge drop. If you go 3 months chart, again, oh my God, it looks like a huge chart. But if you look at a 6-month chart, you can see that really for the past 4 months we've been trading sideways. It's just a minor dip, minor correction. Go to a yearly chart and you look, come on. It's a minor dip in line with recent trends, sideways movement of the market. Go on a 2-year chart. Again, we are close to all-time highs. And the fact that the market turned around means that people saw, hey, there was a 6% sale on stocks. It's time to buy. And they started buying yesterday. And I think they'll continue to buy today, Wednesday, the 29th of June. I may have had my days wrong. Monday was a bad day. Tuesday was the good day. So Tuesday was the good day. Let's go to the weekly. The 28th was Tuesday. That was the good day. Monday was a bad day, and so was Friday, because the vote came in on Thursday. So just to correct myself. But hey, if you just look at those numbers of the trade imbalance that the UK has with the rest of the EU, the rest of the world, I don't think that countries that have huge trade surpluses with the UK are going to change that relationship. They are winning versus the UK. They want to keep that gravy train going. It means jobs in their country. And that's not going to change. Just let's be honest. It's not going to change. What has happened is that the UK has regained its independence, and it's going to have the ability to control immigration. Now, there are two groups of immigrants. There are EEC immigrants, so European Economic Community immigrants, which is permissible under the Schengen zone and other agreements of the EU of the free movement of EU citizens. And there have been millions of, let's say, Central and Western and Eastern Europeans that have migrated to the EU for jobs. It has depressed wages, let's be honest. It has. Anecdotally, I heard a story, a guy, he was a cab driver, but he was renovating his house. He had around London area, suburbs. He asked a British contractor to give him a quote. The quote was £60,000 to do the renovation. Brought in a Polish company, and the quote was only £20,000, I mean. So obviously it's a huge difference, and immigrants, drop wages. That just what happens. They're willing to work for less. They have lower overhead, and that's what happens. So the other group, of course, is the Middle Eastern and Third World maggots that are trying to sneak into the country, most of them illegally, or let's say a lot of them illegally. Both groups are sucking off the teat of the UK in terms of social services, medical, welfare, and all that stuff. Both actually have negative numbers in terms of the group. I mean, what the recent European migrants bring to the table is significant, but they do take out more than they put in. But it's let's say I'd almost argue that it's reasonable, because you've got white European Christian primarily people coming in from the EEC, whereas the third world migrants coming from North Africa and the Middle East, these are third world Muslim primarily, pretty much 99%, low IQ, low skill workers with a different culture. And that group is sucking a disproportionate amount out of the EU. So, out of the EU, but out of the UK. So for the UK to get a hold of that immigration, more power to deport illegals, more power to deport criminals, whatever. They're taking back their sovereignty. It's not about money. I've seen a lot of commentary about, oh, this is a bad deal financially for the UK. No, it's not. It's going to be a good deal. When European countries look at the trade imbalances that they have with the UK, they are going to keep things the way it is because they want to continue to sell their crap to the UK. As simple as that. And the recent lowering of the value of the pound to against most currencies. That's a good thing. The pound is overvalued. Have you ever been to London? You like spending, I don't know, £3 for a 200 milliliter bottle of juice at the airport? I mean, okay, maybe it is 90 pence in Tesco on the high street, but that's still like $1.60. Come on, man. This is one example. It's anecdotal, but their currency could use a little bit of a drop, and I think everything will work out. This is Holy Joe Rock and Roll, bringing some balance and wisdom to the news. Brexit, not a big deal. Everything's going to be just fine. I'm Holy Joe Rock and Roll. Until next time, make it happen for the captain, because you're the captain.
For watching In the News, a feature of HJRR TV and presented by the Reverend Dr. Holy Joe Rock and Roll. Please rate us, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to this channel for more In the News.